Are your kids anything like mine where they're hopelessly addicted to video games, and you being a parent that wants to connect with them would love to get them around a table face to face to play a game and bond, build relationship, you know, all of that good family stuff? However, the thought of getting them around that table to play a boring board game like Candyland or Clue or Life, I guess, first of all, it sounds awful to you because those games suck, but there's no way you're getting them around with the typical board game. If that's the case, your kids are hopelessly addicted to the digital environments. Well, I have 3 games for you that you could possibly put under the tree that they could possibly want to get around a table and play with you this holiday season. I'm going to give you an incredibly brief overview on these 3 games that have been successful for me in getting my gamers around the table to enjoy a little wholesome family fun. First and foremost is pretty straightforward. Minecraft Biomes and Builders. This game is actually pretty fun. I didn't have very high hopes for this. When I got it to the table, I was really pleasantly surprised about the surprising complexity of this game. It's a 2 to 4 player game, plays in 30 to 60 minutes. It is recommended at 10 plus. Those age rankings I found aren't very reliable. It can definitely play younger, especially if a parent is there to kind of guide their way. And the rules are awfully simple. You just take 2 available actions on your turn. Those actions are moving, revealing all the cards around you, collecting blocks from this kind of cool block made of blocks that's essentially simulating you actually mining these blocks in the overworld. And what do you do with those blocks? Of course, another possible action is to build the cards that you're adjacent to. They all have a block requirement and you build them for points. Around the edges of the map are weapons to collect. You'll throw those weapons in kind of a battle deck, and some of the cards you might have exposed as you're revealing cards are the bad guys. What are they called? What are those called? Oh, mobs. I don't know why they're called mobs. I'm such a boomer. But anyways, you'll reveal mobs and want to defeat them. You draw a number of cards in order to defeat them, and if you draw enough hearts equal or greater to the mob's heart value, you get to defeat it and gain the benefit and or points. You score points intermittently as you take the first layer of blocks. It kind of triggers a scoring mechanism, and then you score a particular type of your structure, and the way in which you've placed it on your player board and how it's adjacent to other like structures will score a certain number of points. On top of that, at the end of the game, the mobs that you were defeating are giving you a point condition that will allow you to score points once again based upon the structures that you decided to build. All in all, there's some pretty good strategy to go in this game. I think as a parent, I still was engaged throughout the entire game. I've actually played many games of this, and if you asked me to play it today, I'd probably play it. All right, next on my list is Cuphead. If you've ever played Cuphead, it is a frantic, and I mean frantic, crazy game that's incredibly difficult. And in the Cuphead dice rolling game, they actually do a really good job of simulating that environment. This is a 1 to 4 player game. It plays in 30 to 45 minutes, and that can totally vary based upon how many bosses you're deciding to battle in that particular session. The age on this one is 12 plus, while I think Minecraft can certainly be played any earlier based upon kind of the frantic nature of this game. You know, I know each kid's different. I probably wouldn't recommend though under 10 years old. It's a campaign game, and it comes with all these different boxes related to a boss. You can play one at a time if you'd like and come back to the game and continue to play it. There's kind of like a progression to which bosses you face when, and on top of that, you are kind of progressing your character as you go. And in each game, you're really battling this boss to the death by rolling dice and doing it very frantically. Depending on the level of difficulty, you have a certain amount of time to roll dice and try to match symbols in the right order of the cards that are in front of you so you can avoid hits. If you don't do that, you get hits. And if you get enough hits, you're dead. Luckily, there's some mechanics to have your partners help to kind of revive you, but you rinse and repeat until you get to the boss. And when you get through the boss, you earn rewards that'll make you more powerful the next time around. And that's where that sense of kind of progression is as you go from one boss to the next. All in all, it's honestly like an absolute blast of a game. Side note, it does come with a pretty cool app and timer that has the music that goes along with it. The art is absolutely charming. It definitely gives me vibes of the actual video game. So the next is Robot Quest Arena. It's 2 to 4 players. Plays in 30 to 60 minutes. There is no age rating on BGG, but I think I'd probably say 8+. This has nothing to do with any sort of video game IP. It just kind of feels like a video game. You see, it's a deck building game where you're trying to acquire better and better cards, and the goal of the game is to score points. The person at the end of the game with the most points wins it, but you score points by knocking out the other bots. You're playing cards to move around the map. You're playing cards to attack another bot. You're playing cards to acquire new cards to build that deck even better, so you drop more powerful stuff and knock them out more often. The in-game trigger has to do with the number of times bots have been knocked out. After that end game is triggered, you add up the points and the person with the most wins the game. I think the cool thing about this game is while it's kind of head-to-head, some kids kind of get their feelings hurt a little bit as those take that actions are being played against them. But in Robot Quest Arena, when you get knocked out, it doesn't really matter to you. I mean, you're giving up points to the other person, but it doesn't really hurt your personal game that much. You're able to come right back in the next round and kind of keep going. The art is great. The theme is great. It's fun. It's simple. All in all, Robot Quest Arena is a great time. If these games seem a little bit simple and your young one is applying for membership at Mensa, you may want to check this video. These are a little more thinky for those big brain kids. And on the other hand, if your kid just won't play anything board game related, you may want to check this one out. In this video, I go through 3 games that aren't board games. You'll figure it out when you watch it. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.